Welcome to the Dr. Mudgil podcast. This is a special one. You know, we don't really do too many in-person podcasts these days. We've done a lot of just me talking to the camera, but my man reached out to me. This is a little blast from the past. So Mike Southspeed Figueroa is an elite trainer in New York City. He's a boxing trainer, MMA trainer, all kind of trainer. But his primary focus is boxing. You know, if you follow him on Instagram, which I have been since he was on episode 53 of my podcast. This is episode 106. Lots happened between then and now. He has a lot of folks that he trains, a lot of competitive stuff. I see you like going all over the place now that COVID's over. You know, representing helping your fighters out, like all over this country, actually. Like you guys are all over the map.
Yes, sir.
I got to know, I'm going to give a little background about you, Mike, and then you dive in. We're going to get into some of your story.
You got it.
During the pandemic, Mike actually DM'd me. He wrote a book, and he actually sent me a copy of the book. And the book was Memoirs of a Traveling Trainer During the Pandemic. It came out in I think July of 2021 or something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And basically, it really kind of, Mike is a New York City dude. He grew up in the Bronx, lives in Jersey City. I don't know if you still live in Jersey City, but
still there.
Last podcast, we were living in Jersey City. And, as a personal trainer, who's working out of a gym, a boxing trainer, everything shut down during the pandemic. New York City, for any of you that are here, know that it was a total ghost town. You couldn't even get a cup of coffee. The streets were empty. I live in Long Island. I was one of the few dermatologists that was still seeing patients in New York City. I used to drive into New York City from my home. Literally no cars on the street. It would take me 25 minutes to get in and out of the city. It usually takes me 2 hours to travel those 25 miles. Yeah. And Mike's his entire personal economy just shut down. There was no one to train. He was stuck in his thoughts, like all of us were stuck in our apartments. And someone who's a personal trainer, your whole livelihood is based on working with people. So in other words, your mental livelihood is based on interacting with people. Yeah. Your economic livelihood is based on training your clients so you can pay your bills and all that sort of stuff. And you went from having a crazy busy schedule training folks to literally having zero to do. Yeah. And you actually sent me your book. I actually read it in one night. It was a quick read, but it was hard to put down. Is why I read it so fast.
Yeah.
You talk about just running, trying to get your mind right and running through the city and seeing just there was no pigeons around,
nothing.
Pigeons around, all kinds of it was crazy. But really, it was kind of like a story where you made lemonade out of lemons, right? You're like, all right, this sucks. There's a problem here. My clients are reaching out to me. I have nowhere to train them. And we're like, hey, let's start meeting in parks. Let's start meeting at Central Park. Let's start meeting at the park by your apartment. And you started everyone was losing their minds. And you started helping your clients out. I was like, hey, I want to help you get physically fit, but I'm also going to help you get mentally right because physical activity is such a part of your mental well-being. And so that's a shell of Mike's story. You can actually listen to podcast 53 if you want to dive deeper into it. It's an awesome podcast. It was actually my very first podcast after the pandemic with somebody. So during the pandemic, it was all Zoom stuff. And Mike was the first person I had actually sit in the chair across from me, which was a really cool thing. It was 2 years of Zoom, and it was the first person I could actually reach over and shake their hands. So thanks for coming back, man. And
thanks for having me.
I really appreciate having you, man.
Thanks for having me. No, I appreciate that, man. I mean, even going back to that time, that time is so essential in my life, and especially in my career right now. And maybe a better trainer, and maybe even just a better human to understand people in a more personal level. So. Like you said, I made lemonade out of lemons. I made chicken salad out of chicken split. And, things happen for a reason. That's the beauty of life.
Yeah, but it takes a person who has a glass is half full, a mindset of abundance to make decisions like that and let a hard time impact you in a positive way, which is exactly what you did. But I'm going to get right into what we're here for today. So. Mike is, so I've been following Mike on social media since that podcast. So it's been a couple of years, and he's just an amazing guy. You're a guy who really a big part of who you are is just giving back to your community and helping folks that are disenfranchised kind of get out of a bad situation. And so Mike reached out to me, I think it was last week, and he told me about something very special he's been working on. And I'm going to let Mike tell us all the details about it in a second. And initially my thought was, okay, cool. We haven't really been doing very many in-person podcasts since, for a really long time. And my initial thought was, all right, I said, hey, Mike, we're not really doing an in-person podcast, but like we'll put something special together. And let me, this is such a special thing that you're doing that I really want to get it out to my community so that they can help you out and help out this initiative. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized, hey, let's make a podcast out of this because it is something so special that I think is going to really, it's going to inspire a lot of people, which again is like something that is kind of who you are. So tell us what you're doing. Tell us how people can help you out. I encourage anyone from my community to really stand behind Mike and to help him out in any way that you can, because this is something real special. You're about to do about.
No, thank you so much, man. Thank you. So, it's funny. It's kind of like the butterfly effect. So, when the pandemic thing happened, I just really kind of got the bug of wanting to help, right? To just help more people. So I realized that backstory about me, I had my son at the tender age of 19. So I was 19 turning into 20. And I was a young father. And I remembered, being a father or a parent in general, there's not a manual for it. People give you advice, but there's really nothing that's like, oh, okay, so when this happens, I do this and do that. So me and my son were kind of like growing up together pretty much, but my research, I've always utilized my resources. I've reached out to friends on what to do on the weekends and what to this and where to take my son here and take my son there and so on and so forth. So as I started to do community work, volunteer, like outside of just whatever, I noticed that there was a lot of fathers who had not the best relationship with their kids. And I'm not sure if it's a generational thing right now, but that's a whole different topic. But I noticed that there's resources that are missing. And especially fathers who get their children on the weekends and so on and so forth. My mom always told me, she said, it doesn't make sense for one kid to leave one house and stay in the other house. Might as well him stay in the house that he came from. And they're just not spending quality time. So I'm a boxing coach, boxing trainer. Weekends are free. I started, came up with a class. I said, hey, dads, if you have your kids, let's do a family boxing class. It'll help bridge the gap, and maybe it'll start something. And we were doing that for about a year. Along with that, we started doing a men's accountability group once a month. After the men's accountability once a month, people were like, hey, listen, my friend who's a dad, in Queens, he has this kid this weekend. Are you still doing the boxing class? And something that happened every other weekend became every weekend. So along with that, we've teamed up with charitable organizations like the Catholic Charities of New York. They provided resources such as EBT, benefits, job placements, and we provide those resources in our men's groups. So a lot of fathers that come in will have individuals here there that would probably set up a resume for them right there on the spot. Barbers who are willing to give haircuts complimentary. And it all just, spun from just one weekend where I'm like, hey, let me just try this. So December 21st of this year, it'll be our third annual toy giveaway. And we're slated to probably give about 1,400 toys in the Bronx. It'll be at Huntington Library in Westchester Square in the Bronx, New York. And we'll be giving out 1,400 toys. We did it last year. We gave over about 1,000. And, we're just thriving right now based upon the need right now. I think fathers are wanting these relationships with their kids. And as I'm diving deep, the resources seems to be the gap. Not knowing, everything's so expensive right now with inflation. And the movies, you're looking at about $70.
Yeah.
So if we can provide free resources for fathers, that's our mission statement.
I love it, man. I just love that. That's okay. You're doing lots of good, man. But how can people specifically help you? So what can folks like me, what can I do
Sure,
What can the folks
absolutely.
in my community do to help out?
Sure, absolutely. So word of mouth, right? We have a GoFundMe page. We are in need. Our initial need to keep this program going without any hiccups would be 30,000, 20 bucks, $10, 50 cents. It all adds up. So just donating so we can continue to pay, instructors to teach classes on the weekend, so we can continue to pay a barber so they can do haircuts, so that the fathers will not have any need or any stress that, like, hey, I can't afford this. This is donation based or anything like that. And volunteers. We are open to having any volunteers for December 21st. We set up boxes of toys set up and stuff like that. So we just need manpower.
So how can people get in touch with you, or who can they get in touch with?
Sure, absolutely.
Can people still donate toys?
Yes.
GoFundMe links, all that stuff I'm going to put in the description of the podcast. But if you just want to kind of quickly tell folks who are listening where they can find those resources.
Definitely. So our website is the12foundation.org. So we'll have everything.
Like your shirt.
Yeah, thank you. There you go. That's it. All right. So the12foundation.org, which backstory behind that is a play on words. So 1 as in the father, 2 as in the child, and 1-2 as in 1-2 as in boxing. So we tied that all in.
Love it.
It was meant to be. But yeah, the12foundation.org. Our GoFundMe is on there as well, but our GoFundMe would be the 12 Foundation at GoFundMe, and you can donate anything there. My Instagram is Southspeed, and you can message me there. I can walk anyone through step by step of what to do, and just sharing our platform, sharing our story. I think what's happening right now, there are a lot of individuals that are they don't know we exist, and I'm so appreciative of this right here that you're providing for us, because we know that you are an influential figure, and people trust in you, and I appreciate that. So this helps us enormously.
Hey man, all about New Yorkers helping New Yorkers, man.
Yes.
For the toy giveaway specifically, where are there boxes set up throughout the city, or do folks send toys? Or?
So what they do is individuals will donate money to the 12 Foundation on GoFundMe.
Okay.
If there is, if they want to drop some toys off, we have a location that we're setting up right now, which is in the city. I would have the probably details by then. But it's somewhere on 53rd Street. Literally just happened yesterday. So that's that. And then if anybody wants to volunteer that day, they can actually donate and bring toys that day to volunteer.
Okay. So we're going to put you'll send me all the logistics.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to put all that in the description for this podcast. I know what I'm going to do as soon as I get off this podcast. I'm going to go to your GoFundMe page and donate.
Thank you, man. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
It's just, I think it's at least, it's holiday season, man.
Yes.
Giving Tuesday was this past Tuesday, and I'm just proud to know you, man. I mean, this is
Thank you.
It's like, it's amazing how much you do for your community, man. And
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Your community is growing and growing and growing, man. And I'm just so happy to be able to stand behind you, man. And,
thank you. And from one father to another. I mean, I see you, playing the guitar with your kids and everything like that. And I think, like I said, I think individuals like us, fathers like us, we hope to be the catalyst to kind of just spark, that fathers to kind of spend a little bit more time with their kids, especially in these times right now where there's just so much stuff going on, distractions are like everywhere. That mentorship, and I feel like fathers sometimes feel like their position is not wanted. And they're more wanted than any time right now than anything. So
hey, totally, man. Listen, I'm someone who grew up without a dad, so for me it's like I'm doing it for the first time, just trying to get it right. I don't have anyone that kind of showed me how to do it. But I hope I'm showing
doing a good
kids,
job. You're doing a phenomenal job.
Hey, we're all trying, man. So all of us, dads want to have a positive impact on our kids, and be positive role models and all that sort of stuff, and do everything we can to help our kids succeed. All moms and dads have the same goal, man. Everyone wants the best for their kids, and you're doing a lot to make that happen, man. For dads out there.
Thank you.
All right, so the 1-2 Foundation. You can go to the 1-2 Foundation GoFundMe. We'll put some other links in the description to this podcast so folks can get out there and put their money where their mouth is.
Yeah.
Let's
raise some
help
funds.
Mike out, man. Let's get him to that 30,000.
Yes, let's go.
I don't think that'll be too hard to do, man. We should be able to.
It shouldn't be. Let's go, baby.
And I'm excited to see this thing grow, man. 3 years is going to turn to 30 years real fast, man.
Amen. Definitely, absolutely, and that's the goal. Definitely.
All right, I love it. We're going to get the word out there, my man.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
All right, let's get it.
Thank you.